a small dates. So the topic of our discussion today is going to be on the importance of dua, supplications and prayers in the months of Ramadan. And what do we ask preferably? That is the topic of the khutbah today. Quranically, in Surah 2, chapter 2, that's Surah Al-Baqarah 183, 187, Allah mentioned the rules and regulations and commandments on fasting. From 1 verse 183, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam, to 187, uhilla lakum laylatas siyam rafath ila nisaikum. But in the middle of discussion, Allah was discussing about the fasting, but in the middle, He intervened. He brings in the issue of dua. The scholars are saying the reason why Allah brings in this verse 186 before 187, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. When my servants ask of me, tell them I'm nearer, I'm very close to them. وَجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاءِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. I respond to whosoever call upon me, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. They should call upon me, وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي. I said they should believe in me, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ, so that they will be guided to what to do. Now, the scholars are saying the importance of mentioning dua in the middle of the verses while fasting is being discussed is to show the importance and significance and virtues of dua in the month of Ramadan. Sunnatically, the messenger says, the dua of a fasting person is automatically accepted. Now, if you are fasting and you have an automatic ticket for Allah to respond to your dua, then what are you waiting for? Why are you wasting your time not to ask Allah in this month of Ramadan? In Surah Ghafir, Allah is displeased with whosoever is not calling upon Him. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ دَاخِرِينَ. Those that are strong-headed from calling me, they are going to enter Jahannam. And they will be disgraced and humiliated. So you can see how important the dua is. In the hadith of Nu'man ibn Bashir, reported by Imam al-Tirmidhi and Abu Dawud, the Messenger ﷺ says, Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. Supplications is what comprises all ibadah. If you think of ibadah, it's supplication. Think of the prayer. Now, from the beginning when you say Allahu Akbar, you have to open with another for supplication. When you bow, you supplicate. When you read the Fatiha, you supplicate. When you go to sleep, you supplicate. After Tahiyya, you supplicate. All are supplication. Ad-du'a hiya al-ibadah. وفي رواية الدعاء مخ العبادة. Now, inna sa'yakum lashatta. We have different needs. We have different problems. We have different dimensions of things that we need. But the scholars are saying there are certain things that were in common. That everyone needs those things. Everyone. Everyone, with no exception. And what are these things? There are 11 in number. Number 1 is Jannah. Don't you need Jannah? Don't you like Jannah? Don't you want to be in Jannah? Of course we want to be in Jannah. So since we want to be in Jannah, we should be very, very curious of asking Allah for Jannah. We should be asking Allah Al-Jannah. The messenger says, whosoever asks Allah Al-Jannah 3 times, the Jannah herself will tell Allah, oh Allah, admit him into Jannah. Let him be in me. Now, Jannah is also assisting you in asking Allah to be among the inmates of Jannah. Then what are you waiting for? So ask Allah for Jannah. Be very keen in asking for Jannah. Don't you ever prostrate to Allah without asking Allah for Jannah. In a narration, Allah is amazed. Is surprised. He used to be surprised as someone that will be asking for this and that, forgetting Jannah. Why should you be forget about Jannah? Whatever you are given here, it will be left behind. And if you go there without Jannah, you are a khasir, you are a loser. There is no way you can come back to the world and rectify the problem. So ask Allah for Jannah. Number two, the only vehicle that takes you to Jannah is Iman. That is the vehicle that takes you to Jannah. You want to be in Jannah, you need a vehicle that will take you to Jannah. So the vehicle that conveys you to Jannah is the Iman. Ask Allah for Iman. The messenger says, Allahumma inni as'aluka imanan sadiq. Oh Allah, I ask you for a strong and true Iman. So ask Allah for the true Iman, being it a vehicle that takes you to Jannah. Then after Iman, followed by another vehicle, because this vehicle consists of a driver and a passenger. The driver is the Iman and the passenger is the righteous deeds. So now, if you have an empty vehicle, it goes nowhere. So you need a passenger, and that the passengers are what? The righteous deeds. The good deeds that we do, we observe, we perform every day is part of the vehicle that takes you to Jannah. Ask Allah to give you Iman and righteous deeds. The messenger used to say, Allahumma inni as'aluka al-huda wa tuqa wal afaf wal ghina. Allahumma inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadati. This is asking Allah for Jannah and asking Allah for Iman and righteous deeds. Number four, the Iman, the righteous deeds, is of no value when you have no ikhlas. You have to have sincerity of purpose. Why are you doing this thing? Why are you worshiping Allah? Is it to please Allah or to please another person? Make sure that your deeds are according to the Sunnah. You do it according to the Sunnah and the teachings of the Messenger, and also with ikhlas, sincerity, for Allah's sake. Seek Allah's pleasure in everything that you do. Number five, patience. Without patience, nothing would go. So you need to be patient if you want to have the righteous deed. The fasting we're observing now cannot be observed without being patient. It's patience that drives us to go and fast. But actually, I'm hungry now, but I must be patient until the sun sets. That is the command from Allah, which I have not a right, not a privilege, but I can dubiously enter into an office and drink my tea, take everything, and come out and tell you that I'm fasting. But I have to be patient because of Allah. That is, Allah says, "As-sawmu li." That is, fasting is mine. It's mine alone, and I am only the one that knows the reward of the fasting person. So be patient. Then perseverance. Perseverance is another thing. You have to persevere. After being patient, you have to be persevere. Sometimes it is just an inch for you to get out of a problem. But if you are not patient enough, then you fall into a ditch. Number seven, ask Allah for a complete health. Health. This is very, very important. For you to be healthy is what gives you a guarantee of worshiping Allah. You cannot fast without being healthy. Neither can you pray, nor can you do anything if you are not healthy. So ask Allah to give you health. Then number 8 is sustenance. A risk. What you eat, drink, and what have you. Whatever you want, ask Allah for risk. I'm not saying you ask Allah for money. Money is a trial, it's a tribulation. Money is fitna. So don't ask Allah for money. Ask Allah for a risk, sustenance, provision. He knows how to give you risk. Money may be a fitna to you, maybe a calamity on you. So ask Allah for a risk, sustenance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then number 9 are those things, those 4 things that the messenger says, if you have them, you are certainly successful. Verily, whosoever has these 4 things, such a person is really, really, really successful. Number 1, a righteous wife, a pious wife. Number 2, a vehicle that conveys you to wherever you want to go. Number 3, a righteous neighbor. Then number 5, a house that contains, that accommodates you, an accommodation. Whatever it is, either you own it or you are borrowed or whatever. If you have where to go and sleep, then thank Allah for that. These are the things that makes people successful. Then the messenger, number 11 also, the messenger, at least number 10, the messenger mentioned that we should ask Allah's protection against these 4 evils. Number 1, Adabu Jahannam, the torment of the hellfire, the punishment of Jahannam. Number 2, Fitnatul Qabr, the calamity in the grave, the punishment of the grave, the torment of the grave. Then Fitnatul Mahaya wal Mamat, then the tribulations of this life and during the death, and the tribulation that comes when the Dujjal comes. When the Antichrist comes, there's a problem. So ask Allah's protection from those 4 things. The best time to ask Allah in this month of Ramadan is when you are about to break your fast. When you're about to break your fasting, try to pray, try to supplicate. Ask Allah, because your prayer is automatically accepted. Said by the Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam. Then another time is 1/3 of the night, between maybe 2 a.m., 3, 4, 5, in between, if you can just wake up and ask Allah with prayer or without prayer. If you want to find a catalyst, then you pray. But if you wake up and pray, the prayer is automatically accepted. That is the time for the acceptance of prayer, when Allah descends to the first heaven in the last 1/3 of the night. So try to do that. Then in sujood, the messenger says, no any other joint, no any other place a servant is nearer to Allah than in his sujood. So therefore, intensify your prayers in sujood. Certainly Allah will accept that prayer. Another one, when it's raining, you ask Allah. If it is raining, then ask Allah. Certainly it will be accepted. Then after any kindness or sadaqah given or done to anybody, Allah is happy with you, then ask Allah. Such time is time for the acceptance of prayer. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. May Allah accept our fasting, our prayers, our ruku, our sujood, our tilawa, and all other righteous deeds that we are observing or we are doing in this month of Ramadan. We are already in the middle part of Ramadan, halfway, and we ask Allah to complete the remaining half while we are alive, and repeat many more years for us to see and accept all our ibadah. Count us among those that are going to coincide with Laylatul Qadr and accept our dua, and among those that are going to attend the mercy, the mercies, the favors and bounties of Allah, and then among those that are going to be forgiven, and those that are going to be emancipated from the hellfire. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.